But yeah, we're trading in the buds today for bourbon, the weed for whiskey. We got a special guest in the house, Jeff Williams, the buyer for Khalifa, and my buddy and bourbon enthusiast. The dude is got more bourbon than anybody I know on the planet Earth. We actually have a ton of shit in common. We both like guns. We love whiskey and bourbon, and we love weed. It started about the same time, I think, in the legal game. I've obviously been in this thing since 2017 or 2018. I can't remember. One of those two we started. Well, I started.
It sounds about right.
17 is about right. Jeff has been the buyer for Cleveland since I have ever been in business. And I've dealt with Jeff and John from day one. Been killing the game together. They buy a lot of our flower back in the day before we even did extracts. And now we're still rolling. Not many people are left, too. People are disappearing out here. But Khalifa is still going strong. So are we. We're making great extracts. And we got my man Dimitri over here. And he is one of our main extractors and creates all this beautiful oil we make over here at Sessions. And yeah, man. So today, we're going to run some different bourbons, dude. First of all, let me just preface this. Jeff's the expert out of all three of us. I'm not new to drinking, and obviously neither are you. I just started like heavily getting into like the good shit and in the last few months. I haven't been collecting bottles of bourbon for years, but he has, and his collection, it's ridiculous. He brought me that bottle right there today, a Weller single barrel. Not an easy bottle to get, is it?
No, it took years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes years to like get the special ones. Like even like Blanton's Gold's hard to get.
For sure.
You know how I got that? Did I tell you how I got that bottle? Chance to purchase, OLCC, chance to purchase. Not me. I didn't win. My wife won.
That's that flex bottle for sure.
It is.
I
It's a and the shocking part is, well, you've never had it, right?
No, but I have one. I just haven't cracked it.
Now he doesn't have to.
No. Well, I got two somehow. The Shailene store in Hillsboro. I was there right at 10 o'clock one day, and I walked in and I was like, "You got some Blantons?" And the guy looked at me like, "What kind?" And I was like, "Gold?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." He wants you to look at the OLCC list. He doesn't advertise anywhere that he gets these bottles, you know, especially at Gold. And he was like, "Did you see it on the OLCC list?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure did." Yeah. I didn't. I didn't even know about the OLCC list at the time.
I do now.
But he was cool. He was like, "Right on, good job. It's the only one I got." And I bought it, and I haven't even cracked it. So I wanted to try like some of the bottles that weren't that expensive first to try to figure out my palate, right?
Right.
In fact, I think you recommended that.
I mean, I think there's a whole bunch of $40 and $50 bourbons that are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, just as good as a lot of ones I've tried that are $200. Everybody starts their own way. Originally it was bourbon and Coke, and then it went from bourbon and Coke to bourbon and ice to now it's neat, you know. And then from there it also evolved from just bourbon to now I really enjoy a lot of cask strengths and barrel strengths and all those. Kind of where my palate's developed to now.
Did somebody get you into this? You've been doing this for years. Like, how'd you get started in it?
So I kind of started, I'd say it was 2015, and I had lost a whole bunch of weight and wasn't really drinking beer, and I still wanted to drink. So I kind of switched to bourbon, and I figured what's more American than bourbon?
Nothing. Yeah.
So I switched to bourbon, and then it just became a love, and kind of anything that I do, I go a little crazy. Classic cars, motorcycles, whatever. Anything I collect, I go a little bit insane, too overboard. So this just became one of those things where I started collecting in 15, and then now it's 2025, and yeah, the shelf is 500 bottles deep, roughly.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt being the buyer for Khalifa either.
No, I'm pampered. I get treated real well by a lot of people, which I enjoy.
I feel I'm the same way though, right? The hobbies that I like, I go full bore, almost a bit psycho about it, right? I got into knives and I had to have the customs. Now I'm into bourbon. I'm nuts. I'm sending Jeff bottles pics like daily.
What about your room with just magazines?
Yeah, I have. See,
and I don't mean
problem.
Magazines that you read.
No, I have a ridiculous. I collect those apparently too. Like I just like fun stuff, man stuff, right? It's just fun to shoot guns and drink bourbon and drive motorcycles, you know.
And when you work with weed all day long, the last thing I want to do really when I get home is smoke weed.
Right.
Even though I love weed, but I would rather go home and enjoy some bourbon.
It's almost similar to Prohibition, right? Prohibition ended for alcohol, I think, in 1933. And now we're kind of in that whole weed version of prohibition. Like it's still federally illegal. Um, and being into this business like all day long and dealing with clients and customers and extracts and all this stuff, when I get home too, I have no desire to like even smell it because I smell it all day long. I still love smoking weed, obviously, but like I definitely have diverted a bit over, and now the bourbon is kind of like my thing.
Well, yeah, and I feel like quite possibly like some of those buying habits, your weed buyers who are like, oh, I really like GMO, right? And there's gonna definitely be a bourbon for that person who's like, oh, I love that flavor, and everyone else is like, but they're die hard for it, and so there's a lot of those comparisons that you can probably like relate with buying bourbon now compared to just buying weed. Especially as a buyer, you're looking at lots of quality cannabis all the time and sometimes not great quality cannabis. And you're seeing these price points, and then you're able to use that when you're looking at the shelf. And you hear like the hype on the internet and stuff from all these different brands and such. And you're like, okay, well, am I going to buy for the hype or am I buying for my flavor? Is it the price point that I'm looking at, or is it something I really just want?
There's many things. I mean, another one of them they call bottle porn. Like even if a bottle looks cool, a lot of times people will want to gravitate towards that. And it could be not very good juice inside, but the bottle looks cool enough that you actually you want it, and they call that the bottle porn, which I'm not going to lie, it's got me a few times on a few.
The
But
Casa Azul effect.
I bought
that is a cool bottle.
I've bought a bunch of bottles just based on the look of the bottle,
Yeah.
for sure. Like just because I'm still kind of learning like the different like ryes. And
Well, I'm a stoner, so instantly I'm gonna be like, oh, well, that bottle would make a really cool bong.
so true, huh?
That skull bottle, let's go.
That's a good point. I've picked a couple bottles just based on the look of the bottle, and then the juice has been terrible. Like I was like, damn, I thought it was gonna be great.
Yep.
Just based off the bottle, but nope. Sometimes it's even the simplest bottles, like the wine style bottle in a Penelope, like that Rio is special. What do you guys want to drink first? Should we crack one of these first? Jeff, you're the guest.
Hey, I'm easy.
What do you think?
I'm easy. Pick one.
You pick.
I think we should start with the Rebel.
Start with the Rebel? All right, I like it. It's Rebel small batch.
I have not had this one right here.
Okay.
I've definitely had Rebel. I think I've had the Rebel 100.
So this was recommended to me from my guy right over here off of Oak. He's a liquor store. I was like, what's a good $40, $50 bottle? And he was like, there's pretty much nothing in the store that is going to be better than this for that price point. And so he sucked me in. I bought it. I took it home, and it was fantastic. In fact, we drank some of this on our first bourbon episode.
Yeah,
it was all of our favorites.
Yeah.
At that point, we didn't have some of these that we've got today, but definitely.
And we compared it a lot to the Bullet.
Yeah, it was Bullet, and then Still Austin, which we did not like that much. The cask, I think, was better than the musician, but the Still Austin, I think Texas whiskey is different than Kentucky whiskey.
So I actually have quite a few Texas bourbons and whiskey. It's the corn, I think, too, where it's grown and all that kind of stuff too. There's a lot of really good Texas whiskeys for sure, but in the same regard, $40, $50 one, there's a lot of really good ones out there. Even $25 ones, they're solids.
That 40 and below, what's your favorite bourbon?
If I was saying just like a $25 one,
yeah,
I'm a Four Roses, just regular one that I really enjoy theirs. Or if you spend a little bit more, they have several, a small batch, a single barrel, and they have, I mean, just all kinds. But their brand is definitely one I dig. Like you said, Bullet. The one at home I don't drink much of is Makers, but when I'm out and about at bars a lot of times, that one is always going to be there. So it's like the one I seem to drink when I'm out and about, and I'm not having a really fine, good one.
That's interesting, right?
Because I don't really drink a lot of Makers at home.
They're like,
it's not a bottle
you're like, I'll have a bourbon. They're like, well, and you're like, Makers. Yeah. It comes out just like that.
And I'll drink a Jim Beam too. I mean, I feel like if you're a bourbon lover, which I am, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I'm learning still, obviously. But I can even appreciate the cheapest Jim Beam. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I think one time a friend gave me a bottle and it was called Fighting Cock, and it's like an $18 or $17 bourbon. I mean, I drank it. Did I enjoy it? Maybe not so much, but it still had a place on the shelf. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Except for like I cannot even smell regular Jack Daniels. I don't know what it is, but regular Jack, I think it just stems from my youth of drinking so much of it and getting sick on weekends that like today, standard Jack, I can't drink it.
I'm not an old number 7 guy either, but I do dig their single barrel cask strengths and their bonded that came out just recently a couple years ago. That one's it's actually fucking delicious. But I also have a couple of their high end ones like the 150th anniversary and a Sinatra Select, and those ones are good. But
I've seen that one.
The old number 7, I was never a huge Jack guy. If anything, I was more of a Jim Beam guy than a Jack guy.
Jack I can mix with Coke and drink it all day long, but straight up in a Glencairn or on the rocks, I can't do it. It has like this particular like taste in the back of my throat that just, man, it's not appealing to me at all. This is pretty decent. It smells great. It's got a little bite to it.
It's good. Very
What's
good.
the proof on this? I forget.
There's honey in this one for sure.
I think it said just over 110 or something.
Yeah, 110. It's got a little fire to it.
It's got some heat, but it's got some taste though too.
Yeah.
It's not like overly hot, and it's definitely tasty.
Yeah, it's got a sweet little end to it. It's got some good stick to the glass. It's not super thin. I dig it.
I was going over my notes and I realized you changed everything on me.
What did I change on it? What did I tell you?
We have the Rebel now, not the Jack 10.
Oh, well, the Jack 10 might be here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're starting with these. We're starting with these. We definitely pivoted because I wanted, since Jeff had never cracked a Blanton's Gold, I think if we break out 5 or 6 of the super fire whiskeys, that might be a bit much today, but like 3 good ones,
Yeah.
it's pretty solid. And Rebel, since we've already done it, we've already had it in the past, I kind of figured you would already
I know I
have
was
a little
hoping
bit.
I had my notes, but that was before I started taking notes on this.
So yeah, what do you think of this? Would you like it?
I like this one. I'm still going to appreciate this one as kind of my benchmark for a lot of things, to be honest with you.
$40 bottle is it's pretty fair.
I think it tastes great. You
Yeah.
know, it's got what you're looking for in a decent bourbon.
What about high-end bourbons? Like, I know you like Antique 107. I love that particular bottle, by the way. It might be my favorite bottle.
You know, I've been doing this for a long time now. I'll tell you what's funny is Weller. I look. I have a lot of the Wellers.
Oh yeah.
And the reason you got that single barrel is because I ended up finding another one.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have found another one,
I wasn't getting that one.
I got that one.
That one was coming over.
Thank
And
God
a lot
he
of
got
times
one.
For super high end ones, I'm more of a. I want 2. I don't
Yeah.
like to crack one if I only have one of it because that's part of the collection for me.
Yeah.
Is collecting it. But in the same regard, it's always fun to enjoy them. But the Weller Antique is good. The 12 is all right. But I mean, the Wellers just have that stigma to them. And so anything Buffalo Trace really gets that. People just gravitate towards it because it's got that stigma. Personally, I like a regular Blanton's better than I do an Antique 107 or a 12 even.
Really?
Me.
See, I like the fruit, like forward flavors of the Antique 107. Well, it's like more of like it's like a red apple-y flavor to me in the Antique, and I don't get that in the Blantons.
That's what we love about this is
Right.
everybody has your own palate that you get to enjoy what we like, you know. And I mean even now I'm starting to appreciate other whiskeys like scotches, and I mean I love rye, but scotches and Japanese whiskeys and all these others. So the Blantons I like. The Wellers are great. They're good. But I like personally, if I was choosing anything with Buffalo Trace, it would be first, I would probably say George Stagg would probably be my first favorite, and then second would be Stagg, just regular Stagg.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that one. That one's great. And then same with Colonel Taylor Barrel Strength. I love that. When I think anything other Buffalo Trace, I mean obviously Pappy and all that stuff, and I've had the 12, the 10. I've never tried the 15 or the 20 or the 23. The 12 and the 10 were good, but like I said, I've had ones that are $50 that I thought were just as good as the old Rip Van Winkle, you know, Pappy 10-year many a times, you know. But it's that stigma of the fact that it's a unicorn and tough to get that really makes people gravitate a little bit more towards it. But when I started doing this, you could find a Weller like 107 on the shelf, no problem. It was easy.
Really?
Nowadays with these hunters and these people that are on Facebook and all they do is track bourbon where it's going to be, and then they get online and they trade and trade and trade. I feel like to me they don't appreciate it as much as You know, it sucks for the guy that just goes in the store looking for some good shit,
I agree.
because all the hunters make it where the liquor store guys don't want to sell you good shit
Mhm.
because they think you're just going to trade it or do something with it.
And why shouldn't they benefit?
And that's it too. And also liquor store guys, it's really important to have liquor store people. If you don't have one of those, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But those guys, they have, they have restaurants and bars that they got to feed first, because that's what pays the bills. And then after that, it's the customers. And for me, collecting so long, it's tough to get loyal to one liquor store because I'm searching for shit all over the state of Oregon.
Right.
And I mean, sometimes I'll have somebody that's in Bend and I'm like, hey, will you stop by this liquor store and grab me something when you're there? Or in Medford, or, wherever it may be. Because OLCC does have a liquor search thing where you can see what bottles are where. The funny part, though, is when you go into a store and you're like, I know you have these bottles. And they're like, oh, no, we don't even have those. And it's like, okay. We know you got them.
Date.
You know you got them.
I've
But I
I've
understand why they
experienced
do
it.
it. I understand why they do it now. And I've learned that
Because
they
they
find
think
ways
you're
around.
selling it on the secondary.
Not selling it, trading it, whatever, or you haven't spent money at their store, so why should you get their good bottle? Which I can understand.
That I can appreciate.
I
Right.
understand.
Yeah.
So that's why it's nice to kind of try to meet somebody and get a little in with a liquor store guy, because then he might open, he lets the gates open a little bit and let you get some good stuff. I had a guy a long time ago that owned a pot farm that had a couple liquor stores, and he was super cool to let me get a couple really cool bottles. But also when he sold his farm, I was like, I can't call this guy and be like, hey, want to open the gates up? No, I mean,
Yeah.
it was nice when he had a farm, but now it's like, damn it, I lost it. I had it for a moment and then it was gone.
Yep.
It's
Somebody retires or passes away or moves on.
Yeah.
just gets out of it.
Yeah.
just leave.
And that happens. That definitely happens. I've experienced that though, Jeff. Like, I've walked into liquor stores and been like, "Hey, I saw that you guys just got some of the Rio in," and they're just like, "Yeah, it's gone." And they got 12 bottles, and I'm like the third person in the store that day. They're just like, "It's gone." I was like, "All right, well, that
But
sucks."
they say,
But I've never been
names
there.
are what open doors, right?
Well, it's that old mantra. It's not always what you know; it's who you know,
Yeah,
right?
and
that's fair. I think it's more than fair.
it's a game. It sucks that there's so many people out there that aren't necessarily in it for the purity of just drinking some good bourbon. They're trading up, and I get that, and it's cool, but it sucks for all the people that really do enjoy it and have a passion for it, where the shit means something, where it's not just, oh, I got a Blanton Gold and then I traded it for this to get that, and they got that to get this. I mean, that kind of takes away from it, where it's not, there's no enjoyment there. And that's what's kind of sucks a little bit, because it's kind of ruined it a little bit with the people around. But
It's
still,
almost like the Pokemon generation found alcohol. Really.
Honestly,
And it's kind of interesting how it happens, because it recently just kind of ended with beer. Beer was a really big thing where people would be camping out for days on end outside of Great Notion.
well,
When
bourbon's
they were
been the
just
same
one
way
building in the entire state, and it'd be people down the road
for beer.
for
I've never heard of
beer, and they would sell these beers online, trading cases for sours, and because nobody had these fruit smoothie beers anywhere. And Great Notion got huge on that in a matter of a couple of years. And they marketed it really good. But yeah, I mean, they pulled the hype of the internet. They gamified the whole thing. There's a whole trading card series and everything for their beers. It's crazy. But that's the way that this generation really kind of vibes. And that's like, somebody's always trying to make something out of somebody else's interest.
yeah.
Somebody's hobby is always somebody's end game for a payday.
Well, I saw that you talk about the Pokemon thing. They load those machines. Have you seen how they load the Pokemon? Like, there's like I guess you can buy cards out of these machines, and you'll see like the employees are in there before they open, buying all of them, spending like $2,500 just cleaning the machines out.
You've got
that shit's crazy.
Grown men going in there and buying all of them just because they got a credit card.
Well, they're secondary and all that stuff. That's all to make money, and that's essentially what Jeff's saying right here.
At least the Pokemon thing is better than the NFT thing.
Yeah, I don't even understand the NFT thing.
Me either.
Well, like I have no. What is NFTs just like?
Hey, You want to know
Like, what is an NFT?
Okay,
Somebody explain to me.
I will explain it to you in the best possible way that you guys both 100% understand.
All right.
Are you ready?
Send it.
Every single metric tag is an NFT. There you go.
How's that?
You paid for it. It's generated, and nobody can duplicate it. There's one of them.
Okay, interesting.
You can photocopy it all you want, but it's not the real tag.
But NFTs, what they were making like video NFTs.
Same thing.
It's the same
You
thing.
can copy a video all the time you want, but do you have the real video? Because a video has a serial number. Every file has a serial number.
Anything could be an NFT?
Kool-Aid points are an NFT. They were invented long ago.
That's interesting.
Camel Cash. Anything you want to consider a currency that can be verified as genuine.
That's how you have to look at it. It's also got to be
The only
determined to be
difference is-
a currency?
Well, the only difference is those are all centralized by the person who printed them. No one's printing an NFT essentially for what you're paying for it with. The money, the transaction for the NFT is a proof of purchase. So when you're buying Kool-Aid with US dollars, you're paying for your NFT, which is your Kool-Aid points.
Okay, that's fair. But
when you buy your metric tags, you're buying all your NFTs up front.
I kind of understand that.
It's actually a really great thing because it's a way to verify purchase or a vote or anything like that
No, I
that
can
can be
agree on
traced back to an origin.
Oh, for sure.
A wallet.
But at least a metric tag, it's 25 cents. And it doesn't.
For now.
You know, I mean, it's not like the NFT where you know, some guy says it's worth $3 million. So all of a sudden,
Hey,
a guy like Jake Paul buys it for $3 million.
Let me blow your mind. How much do you think the first metric tag is worth?
25 cents.
Maybe.
That would be my guess.
But I bet if you put it in an auction and
Why
said
would it
this
be
is the
worth
first
anything?
metric tag ever issued in Oregon, I bet you it's worth a lot more than 25 cents.
I don't think so.
And somebody would buy it.
Yeah, who knows?
Guaranteed.
That's a good question. That is
Not for very much.
Gotta love prohibition gear. We're still there.
You know what? That you might be right. If you look at it in the terms of prohibition,
All
gear,
these companies that fail, their stickers, money in the future.
Yeah,
They should have kept their own stickers instead of throwing them away.
in terms of like what Jeff is saying, like how Jake Paul and those guys were creating NFTs. Like, what is that? Explain that because
So-
I don't understand that.
So like that, they generated all these images.
It's just the
These
image.
Images, right? But they're unique, each and every one of them, essentially. And they convinced people to buy them. And then they took the money. Like, that's all you have to do. Like, I mean, that's what everyone does.
So it's
that's what
just
every
this-
business
So
is.
it's a scam.
Well, it's a way to generate capital.
What's the but where is the value in the product?
Do you know what the value is?
What somebody's worth paying?
Jake Paul made a whole bunch of money, and he's going to spend that money on making something like Prime.
Jake Paul didn't make Prime.
But you know what I mean?
Logan did.
Right. But you know what I mean?
Don't confuse the Pauls.
I'm
kidding.
sorry.
I'm kidding. I don't.
I'm
just saying,
they all
like,
look the same.
I know they definitely do.
Ultimately, these things are to generate income that they're ultimately going to spend money on, reinvest. I don't care how you cut it. Like these guys, they spend money to make money. So if the guy buys a Lamborghini, it's something that improves his status. His status is his product. Like people are buying Jake Paul, Logan Paul. They're not buying his products necessarily. They're literally supporting.
I just don't
him.
know how you resell an NFT if it has no value. I just don't get that. They're pictures. That's it.
Right, but
So
one
where's
of them,
the value? I don't understand
One of
it.
them might be cooler than the other. The first one is more important than the
don't
last
know.
one is more
It
important.
seems stupid.
Maybe a
That's it.
certain number's important. That was just, some people who are like, oh, I'm really a big fan of the number 666. That one or number 69, 420. Like those generated numbers are important to people and they want them.
Yeah.
You
You're
know,
probably right.
it just happens. It happens like that.
It's
The
true.
internet is a weird place. People are weird and welcome
I'm
to
just
it.
old school. I like if I can't hold it in my hand, I just doesn't feel
It has to
right.
be
Yeah, but-
tangible.
See, and they're like,
I'm
well,
with
you
ya.
could print it out.
But then it's not really it, right? Then it's just a copy of a copy.
Well, it's your copy to enjoy.
All right, look how nice this bottle is. This is a gorgeous fucking bottle.
Yeah, those are
It's
those
a
are cool.
great bottle.
This might be the best bottle on the bourbon market.
Well, and it's a smooth bottle, so they have a really good mold for it. or they replace it regularly to ensure that they're always quality bottles. That's something to note.
I think, and I might be wrong, but somebody should fact check this. But I want to say that was the first single barrel bourbon that was sold.
I'm almost certain of it. Yep.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Kentucky Straight. Dude, this is a cool. Have you ever held one of these? Like, it just
I have
feels
now.
quality,
No, yeah.
right? Doesn't that just feel quality?
That's good glass too, yeah.
I
mean,
like that each one has a different letter on it. Like Blanton's has a little bit more to it. You know what I mean? Like people.
They even wrote on it
the
with a
sets.
gold Sharpie when they numbered it.
I don't know if it's a Sharpie, but it's
I
definitely.
mean, it's a gold.
Oh, they wrote that. Yeah.
When they numbered it.
So
The number,
if you notice
the
up
Rick
here,
number.
these tops are collectible, okay? And you'll see right here, there's a letter on it, and they spell Blanton's, and people will collect all the tops.
Yep.
So you get a B and an L.
Yeah. To me, like, that's something tangible that you can collect, and I can get behind that.
Fucking A right.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, all the bourbon I bought is a lot better buy than all those DVDs I bought.
Yeah.
I look at that in my basement in boxes, and I go, those were $20 each, and there's 1,000 plus of them there. What the hell was I thinking?
With that in mind, DVDs eventually will go bad. They just kind of like oxidize.
Do they?
Yeah, they kind of they kind of disintegrate after time. I think they're only good for like 40 years or something max, and that's if you like keep it in like a cold, dark space and stuff. But now with that same mentality, like once you open one of these bottles, because again, I don't know anything about bourbon. How long is there like a shelf life to this? Because the oxygen is
they do oxidize over time.
They can, and I can tell you this: over the 10 years plus I've been collecting now, it's I've only seen one bottle where, and it was very little left, and it kind of went bad a little bit, and it kind of just like turned to sugar is what it kind of looked like it turned to, like brown sugar. But other than that, they say 2+ years roughly for a bottle, but I have ones that have been open 8 years, and I'll take a sip, and it still fucking tastes good.
Yeah.
So,
well, it probably matters if you're.
They want to sell you more shit. So.
Well, and I think if you're moving it enough, that's constantly moving everything. Whereas, like, if there's only a little bit of material left in there, it's gonna molassesize and
that and sun, the oxidization.
Yeah,
I keep mine there. You know, if sunlight hits mine, it's not for very long.
Yeah. It's to pour.
Oh, that's interesting. So you really want to keep these out of the sunlight? I never even knew that.
Definitely an opened one. I would keep more out of the sunlight for sure.
So
if
2
it's not
years
open,
is typical?
I think that's what it says. If you Google the shit, that's what it says roughly. Yeah.
Well, this will be the most expensive.
connoisseurs.
This will be the most expensive bottle of bourbon I've ever opened.
And it's going to be drank in 2 years.
No, it will not last fucking 2 years, bro. This bottle will not last 2 months. I promise you that. You want to crack it? I have cracked a regular Blanton's at the
Dang,
house,
what's
but
that?
that is beautiful.
That's
I'm just telling you, like, as the whole presentation, that's definitely one of the dopest bottles on the market, easily. Like,
This
I
is,
know Weller's popular, and their bottle is plain Jane to me, right? But
They updated it.
that bottle's beautiful.
It used to be different. It used to say W.L. Weller,
Okay.
William LaRue Weller.
Right.
This one I know. This
hear
is
that
this
cork
is what
pop
we're going to
goes
be
back.
doing to our blunts when we start making them. Is we're going to
A
start.
wax tip would be cool.
Yeah. Make sure they stay nice and sealed.
Yeah.
Hit them with the stamp.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
Let's crack this bad boy. Hear this pop. That was
You
the weakest pop ever.
gotta get closer.
I heard it.
I heard it.
Pretty weak, though. All right, Jeff.
Crank up the gain for that one.
I can't tilt. There we go.
Oh, I heard it in the headphones. We're good. Actually, we just get the sound effects. Just like put in the most atrocious pouring sound effect.
Oh my god,
for
that
every pour.
smells. That smells like way good.
I'm gonna take
it
a
smells
little sip
clean.
first.
Does it like it? Did you already taste it?
Oh, it's so smooth.
I
Is it
sipped
smooth?
it first, just a little taster, and then I wanted to like really fill it up.
I
Oh
mean,
my
you
God.
don't. There's no. But my guess is it's probably around 90 or maybe 80.
I
But
think it's 90.
The little
I
bit
think
that
it's over
touched
100
my
actually.
lips.
if it's over 100, I'd be
It's
surprised. But
103.
wow, it's. I mean,
The
that's
little
smooth.
bit that touched my lips, I couldn't even tell I was drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Is it that
It's
good?
I mean,
so smooth.
And the Rebel's great because I love
It's
a bike.
decent,
personally,
right?
But,
It's good.
But that Blanton's is so smooth. That shit's dangerous.
It is, huh? That all right. I'm excited. I'm about.
I
want to
see what my notes
I'm actually excited. I've waited to crack this for a good occasion.
Thanks for having me.
Having you on
Hell
is
yeah.
the best occasion. Cheers.
Salute.
Salute. All right, let me dive into this. Man, that smells.
Oh, it smells
so good.
fantastic. Lots of honey.
And when you ask me what kind of got me into this too, I'm not going to lie. There was
Oh my god.
great TV shows like Justified, Billions, a couple different shows that really solidified it for me too. That bourbon. I mean, it's just so American, but it's also there's just so much history with it. And then the TV shows will show you certain ones, and that also builds up the stigma of like the Weller on that show Justified. They would always have Buffalo Trace stuff, and it would be hyped. Like Elmer T. Lee, Weller 12, whatever. Even shows like Yellowstone. They started popping Weller in there at the
They sure
on
did.
the last
didn't they?
episodes, trying to
Mhm.
show
I
it.
saw that. That's one thing I did notice. That's a really good show.
He's a hell of a writer.
He is killing it.
I am
boy.
surprised he doesn't have his own bourbon yet.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, he has horses.
So,
He has
sure
meat.
it's coming.
as a child growing up, I actually went to South Dakota. I went to Deadwood after all of the movie and all that, Dancing with Wolves.
Oh yeah.
And I went to his casino, and he has a whole bar. So I would
What's his name?
imagine Kevin Costner,
Oh,
right?
Kevin
Yeah.
Costner.
No,
did.
I'm talking
I
about
was
the guy
thinking
who
Taylor-
produced. Yeah,
Taylor
Taylor
Sheridan.
Sheridan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
That's who I was talking about. Too.
Costner's a legend too. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
huge
Costner
golfer,
is
and that's
a
Tin
legend.
Cup, so
Right. Well, and I
or
would.
Bull Durham. Or
I'm
fucking
surprised that
whatever.
also him himself hasn't gotten more involved in like more of a spirit world too.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
true.
one of my all-time favorite actors. I have to agree. Even Bodyguard was a great fucking.
He's
movie.
so versatile. I mean,
Dude, the most
he'll
versatile.
do the tearjerkers like Field of Dreams. Then he'll do 3,000
God,
Miles to Graceland.
Field
I
of
mean,
Dreams, bro.
3,000 Miles of Graceland was so
So good.
and I love Kurt Russell too, and they both played, Wyatt Earp too.
Yeah,
So I
they
mean,
sure did.
Also, a
Tombstone
local
and-
legend. A lot of people don't know that the original Wyatt Earp from the movie Tombstone. What's the guy's name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt
no,
Russell.
the other one.
Oh,
Sam
Elliott.
Sam
Oh,
Elliott
yeah.
lives here in Oregon.
He actually
Oh,
went
does
to
he?
David Douglas High School,
Yeah.
which is in
He lives
in
in Beaverton.
in the league I
somewhere.
went to in my conference.
No
right?
kidding. Trippy.
You'll find him at Fred Meyer.
I mean, Sam Elliott's a hero of mine. I freaking love Sam Elliott. You're right, it
Rip
was.
to Val Kilmer lately.
Oh, RIP for sure.
Huckleberry,
I miss Huckleberry.
Val Kilmer
Ugh.
was the shit, man. And
only 65 years old.
I just had a friend that watched Heat last
Heat.
night.
That's
And
how I
he-
was literally
and he
trying to
told
think
me he
of it.
never watched it, and I was like, oh my God.
God.
A fucking fantastic movie. But then again, I'm a Michael Mann fan who did the original TV show Miami Vice, which I kind of grew up on. So
Yeah, I actually
Right there
worked
with
at
it, buddy.
Mercury Marine when I was young, before I was old enough to actually be a full adult, as a intern polishing boat headers, and I worked on Don Johnson's boat.
Did you really?
I did.
that's fucking
I
awesome.
polished Don Johnson's headers, which that sounds weird, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with it.
I would tell people that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Deck shoes for life.
dude,
And you
I
know
can't
what?
get over how smooth this is. Like, I feel like
So-
this is the smoothest bourbon I've ever had.
When I told you I grew up in Wisconsin, I grew up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oshkosh
The
by Gosh,
home
is that
of
where
Mercury Motors.
is Oshkosh where they came up with the Oshkosh by Gosh?
Yeah, actually, I was an Oshkosh Bagosh model. I was an Oshkosh Bagosh model. I was
Dude,
a
get
Boys
the
and Girls
fuck outta
Club
here.
model for a national campaign. I'm all again. Google me. No.
Hey, Dimitri's traveled.
You have to check out his Instagram. That's what you really have to do. What is your Instagram?
It's my name.
Dimitri Janis?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I just went there.
Yeah.
Made it happen.
It's pretty funny.
All in.
Some of the best. I was just telling, we were watching, I was telling him about your Instagram on the way over here. and what is it? The Jane Fonda? Not Jane
Oh
Fonda.
man. Yeah, the Jamie Lee Curtis
Jamie
one.
Lee Curtis.
Dude, I'm telling you,
How many hits has that had?
that one had a lot. And I'm telling you right now, for some random reason within the last 6 months, Jimmy Fallon, one of his writers, I'm just gonna say it. I think they copied me. They did it a little differently because they couldn't do weed stuff. He's just eating pizza. and like weird shit.
They copied it.
They copied it.
Yeah.
There's no reason. Like, why?
Well,
Hey, people copy shit. That's
that's what they
what do we
do.
call it? That's
Flattery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They say flattery is imitation, but I think it's the worst.
I do too.
Worst form.
I got a crew right
Flattery.
behind me that fucking copies everything I do, and I find it not flattering at all. Just so you know.
But there's something
Yeah.
to say for that. Like I feel like if you're getting copied on certain stuff, you're just doing your job right.
right.
So, okay, that's fair. But
And-
also,
and I only
if you
I bring that into what we do for a living. Is
Yeah,
what I bring
that's
that.
that's what we're
100%.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Literally, the one thing that you cannot copy us on is the quality of our product. You can copy our boxes, you can copy our stickers, you can copy all that. I don't care. Go ahead.
You can't
That's
copy
what
the
they
passion.
did. They can't copy the passion. They
Can't
can't
copy
copy.
the product that made the product either.
Thank
And
you.
you guys are one of the
It's the flower.
for outdoor weed. You guys are, in my opinion, top 5 in the state.
I would
and,
agree.
and it's a great.
I'd say top 2, but
I'm pretty
biased.
new.
Who is the other one? If you were going to say,
I would say if we were gonna go, I
I'm
think
curious
Will
myself.
has. I think Will Wonder is
you and
is
Will
close.
Williams Wonder and
Williams
Sugar Tree
Wonder
are my two.
okay.
Those are my two favorites.
Yeah.
You know?
Will Wonder and us
I
are the
didn't
top 2 in the
expect
state.
that, but honestly, like now that I'm thinking about it, like when I think about some of the flower that I used to buy, I used to actually be a bud tender long ago
So did I.
at Green Planet,
Okay.
and then I went to Yeska. So interesting business to failing business, and then I realized that like a bud tender wasn't for me, and I did some sales, and I realized that I'm really good at sales, but it's not what I wanted to do because I like to innovate, and so that's
You're
what brought
definitely
me
a
into
creator.
the lab.
I loved bud tending. I did it for 4 years at our first store, and while doing it, I love people, and I found out I'm a people person for sure. I love people, and I love what I get to do because I'm lucky. I get to deal with people I enjoy to deal with, but I also miss my customers. So once in a while,
Oh God, yeah.
I'll go back and I do guest bud tendering days,
Dude,
and just to see my people.
listen,
and I'll tell you
cool.
what, those
If
days are
I
so
could-
enjoyable.
If I could do that, I would totally go in and just work for like the day for free.
I go
and
put
just-
a few hours in here.
Like
there.
I
don't
will,
give 'em the
I'll
whole
go
day.
and sell.
You're
If
not
somebody
giving them the whole
buys
day.
a sessions product, I'll walk them right to the counter and freaking ring them up. I think that would be a cool table experience. If it's like, hey, let's get you set up. Come on over here. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
be kind of cool.
absolutely.
A little
It was
tailored.
fun.
And
I
that
love-
helps get the extra fun stuff out there.
And it's fun to tailor made the experience to the customer. That's
yeah.
all you're doing is really one of my owners said it best was we're just trying to make people's days better. And that's really, in my opinion, it's what weed does. Now,
I agree.
I love alcohol, but we can all be real. Alcohol isn't in the same level as weed.
Right.
Alcohol, people do a lot more different. Weed, you don't get people that are like wanting to start fights and do stupid shit. They don't do what alcohol will do. I love to drink, but I'm not with some of the stuff that alcohol goes with.
yeah.
Everyone I've met is really good at monitoring their cannabis intake.
Mhm.
100%.
Well, the thing is, you
And
can
they're
it's
not
tough to
good
go
at
overboard.
monitoring their alcohol
The only
intake.
time weed has ever gone overboard for me is when I eat too much edible,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm trying to sleep at night, and I'm like, "You're not
Can't sleep.
breathing. You're
Yeah.
not breathing. You got to breathe." And I think about it, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, Jeff. Oh yeah,
I
you're
so
am
funny.
high.
I've
breathing.
totally
You're high.
done that, by the way.
And then I'm like, "You're high." And then I'm like getting up, want water. I have to stay awake because I'm not breathing. I'll just lay there and not breathe for like a minute or 2 minutes straight. I'm like, "What am I doing?"
That's interesting.
And it was just the edible.
I'll do that too, though.
But it was only if I take more than, and I'm a lightweight, more than 30 milligrams, and I get pretty fucked up.
I had my girlfriend at the time when I would eat a lot of edibles. She would literally tell me, she'd look at me, I'd be watching TV, and she'd be like, breathe. And I'd be like, thank you.
Yeah.
I would literally say thank you. It was crazy.
I also think like drinking, like you can't drink like 4 or 5 bourbons every day. It's not
Yeah.
good for you.
No.
Like it starts to become
I've done
bad
it.
for you.
I've done it.
I'm
Many of yours.
I definitely have too, but weed, like I can smoke weed every night and be in full
Right.
like control, and
Well, and usually
I
the
think
worst,
it's healthier for
the worst that weed usually leads to is
sleep or eating too much.
eating and sleeping.
Well, and now
You're not fist fighting after you smoke a joint.
Not usually.
No.
And we had a little bit of a conversation, but I said earlier how I was working a lot in New York. And New York is regardless of what people say when it comes to like the laws and the OCM, which is the Cannabis Coalition that monitors it, like the OLCC there. They're rather progressive.
Really?
Which I think is fantastic. So they actually have things that are in legislation right now that have been legalized even to allow smoking cannabis in a movie theater. And then like they have
But
like
obviously-
The likelihood of that getting passed is
But
no,
that's
it's
zero.
already passed.
But
It's done.
that's not in a spot where kids are at.
Right. So
mean,
it's
that's the
it's
those
like,
are specific
it's-
theaters.
No, it's any theater
What?
that actually wants to put in the ventilation systems.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. That's
and they're
not-
going to.
You think
So,
so?
wait,
You think AMC
I
isn't going to
think
spend
not
some money?
separated?
They spend the money on the seats, my guy.
Oh, that's true.
Them seats are not cheap.
But
And
that's
Air
for
System's
everybody.
probably a dime a dozen for them. No, so they'll have a specific theater that's just the cannabis room.
Okay. I could understand
Nowadays
that.
they have theaters that have
Listen,
beer.
I
They
think
got-
that's cool.
Some of them got.
I hope
30
they do.
theaters,
Don't get
you
me
know?
wrong. I hope
Right.
they do that. That would be amazing.
And it looks like the I read some articles where like the AMC guy who manages like, well, why wouldn't we try it? Like that sounds stupid
Look,
not to.
Nowadays they're fighting streaming, right? So I can sit on my couch,
Right.
watch a movie, and pause it when I need to go. Up
But
to
if
the
I
bathroom,
can just
drink
pass
my
a
bourbon, or
joint,
smoke my weed.
imagine passing a joint through the theater.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, it'd be great. Just like they should bring back drive-ins.
They
right.
actually have one still in Newburgh.
Dude,
Have you been
that's
to
like the
Newburgh?
only one.
There's
It's the
actually a
only one.
lot of them out
Yeah.
here. There's one
Is
out in
there?
Gresham too.
No,
yeah.
no. I live in Gresham. There's
Unless
no
that one
drive-in.
closed,
They
did
don't
it
have
finally
one.
close down?
Probably a while ago.
Dang. I thought it was where all the circus equipment was.
No, oh, that's on Powell. That's Southeast Powell. Like you're talking like more like 100 and like just past 205.
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit.
just over the
No,
under the
it's
underpass.
gone.
It's gone.
It should still be there, but it's a lost thing that these kids don't even know about
Right.
nowadays.
Well, and so here's the other progressive thing that's happening in New York, which I think is great because it's not alienating any individual segment of the market. So they do these events where they can do it at the farm or even at the county fair. And so a farm will partner with a dispensary, and the dispensary literally manages the metric portion of things on site to allow on site sales for that event. And they actually will shuttle people from the main New York State Fair to the cannabis section, which is segregated away from the rest of the community, keep kids away and stuff. They shuttle people in and out. You can make your purchases. There's a smoking area and stuff, and then they shuttle you back out.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, and it
is a great
it
idea.
ensures the taxes are collected. It ensures that there's a great partnership with a farm and a dispensary,
Mhm.
right? And then it also ensures that like people can understand and be educated in a way that's more interactive and things that are pretty recognizable at a state fair, right? Like we go there and we see like dairy farms and stuff, and they have all these interactive displays telling you about why milk is good, and it's like, okay, why can't we do that?
Yeah,
It's
well,
true.
we should be able to. Well, I think we will be able
Hey,
to.
it's come a
It's-
long ways.
it's
I
come a
didn't
long
ever
way.
think it'd be legal.
No, believe me, in 2012, 2013, I was like, shit, this is never going to be legal. And look at us now. I mean,
Yeah.
it really has come a tremendously long way.
Yeah.
All right, let's call timeout. We
He
got
said,
some-
"Oh yeah, you earned that new raise."
Yeah, you sure I'll give it to you. You definitely earned that raise this week.
Raises are nice.
No, see, you did hear the fact that I am the Dennis Rodman. I know you heard that, and so don't ever
You
forget.
definitely are Dennis
No
Rodman of
matter,
cannabis.
no matter what happens, in the end of the day, I will come through.
I will. Listen. One of my best pickups of all the employees I got right now is Dimitri, and it's funny how life takes crazy turns and twists. Right? We work directly with VapeJet. Right? VapeJet. I partnered with this guy Ryan. He owns VapeJet or owned VapeJet, and they came in house and basically developed their automated dab Grammy machine, which is fucking amazing, and it'll end up being a staple in the cannabis.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like it's phenomenal, and they've worked out a lot of kinks. And this machine will and has changed the game for us. I'll put it this way: so an average person can gram 600 to 800 grams a day, and that's if they are amazing grammars.
Good.
Amazing grammars, head down, nonstop gramming. Right. This machine does that in an hour. So I add 6 to 8 employees just having this machine. So shout out to VapeJet. They are a great partner of ours. The machines that they produce are just getting better by the day. And it honestly has helped and not saved our business, but made this business what it is. It's allowed us to offer products back to the people. Because, my mantra has always been for Sessions is a brand for the people. I don't want to be the company that's selling carts for $30. I don't want to wholesale for $20 and expect I want to be everybody be able to buy our shit. And we've never changed our prices. I've sold $5 single gram dabs for 10 years. I've never changed the price of the carts. 510 carts have always been $8. And all-in-one carts have always been $10, and I think we use the best hardware in the business.
Yeah,
we put all our all-in-ones in eye crushers.
Wholesale.
Yep. Which brings us to a spot ad.
They're like, hold on, wait, we're going to Khalifa for $10 cards.
By the way, tell your local bud tender to order Session Cannabis extract on leaf link. But for us, we don't even have sales reps. I think for what we do, not having sales reps, it's always been relationship based. Like Jeff and I have had a relationship for 10 plus years. And it's solely the only reason Jeff buys our products is because the products are good.
Well, we specialize
it's not because I'm pretty.
Yeah, I don't have to throw bones to you because you're my friend.
Right.
The product stands for itself. Like
we
know that. The flower is phenomenal. I mean, personally, I don't smoke outdoor usually just because I don't have to, but not that I wouldn't. I can't believe what these kids are so fucking lucky. I remember when I was fucking 20 years old, 22, whatever, and I'd buy an eighth a week because I was poor as shit, and I'd have to stretch that eighth. And then that eighth didn't weigh 3.5. That eighth weighed 2.2. And it was fronted to me. And because it was fronted, I was like, fuck it, I'll take it.
And every day,
even though on the front.
Every day you only took out half a gram, but it went down a gram for some reason.
And then you would make that last half gram last 4 days if you had to.
And then here comes
scraping
the bowl.
And that's the thing. These kids don't know about fucking resin. Oh
they
my
don't
God.
know about
You're
resin.
up at a fucking mountain and snowboarding and you're with 3 guys and you're like, we don't have any weed.
Oh, man.
Fuck it. We're smoking resin. And it's so
okay,
disgusting.
I got a torch and some knives. Let's go.
So disgusting, but we did it.
They don't have a fucking clue.
The fact that I have $35 and $40 ounce shit at my store, $65 ounces that are fucking good weed, weed, and it's insane because, like I said, I used to spend $40 on 2.2 grams of shit weed that wasn't even near as good as this outdoor that you produce for sure, and it was just ridiculous, but now these kids, they got it lucky. They have no fucking clue.
And
here's no clue.
The roads the crazy part is we've been actually focused solely on like strain hunting. We haven't actually been focusing on the growing aspect of things. And so now we figured out a lot of what we really like. And now we're going for mass. So now we're going to have even more of it with the same care and attention.
They like the forbidden fruit.
Oh my God.
The forbidden cookies.
The whole block here loves
snacks.
Forbidden fruit when it comes into
Jeff knows.
When the forbidden fruit load comes from the farm,
Lucid Blue.
The entire block smells like forbidden
Honestly,
fruit. I'm not even joking.
It's hilarious because when we do get forbidden fruit in, even like all the other surrounding companies in the building will always all come to here and be like, you guys have any extra forbidden fruit? And we're like, not anymore. We used to be able to share the wealth a little bit, but now that we've become as popular as we are, we just, unfortunately, we can't share the forbidden. And
we're putting it in the infused rolls now.
We're putting it in everything. We're putting it in carts, infused pre-roll. We won this award right here for the pre-roll forbidden fruit flower with the forbidden infused cured resin. Amazing. Yeah. All right. Hey, listen.
We got another bottle.
We got one more bottle to talk about.
Jeff,
good one. I reached out to Jeff, because I found this bottle at I love going to my local fucking liquor store on Fridays.
Nope.
Friday in Oregon, they drop the new shit, right? So one morning I walk in and the guy's like, I got this, and I was like, oh my God, because I've been trying to get the Havana for a minute, and I had ended up having to buy the Havana on an auction site, and I paid way too much, but that's okay. But the Rio, Amberana finishes have become kind of a popular thing. I think they're fading in and out.
All kinds of casts, different casts,
Good point. All kinds of casts. But the Penelope, as you can see, I like it because I just got the bottle, a week ago?
Mine's down
Maybe
lower.
2? Is it really? You beat me.
It is. I took it on the golf course.
I had to call.
Went through a big chunk of it.
Oh, well, that's sharing with no one.
But the thing for me is I was like enjoying it. He just takes big swallows, and I'm like, you didn't taste the Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Like,
right?
What the fuck?
But I know for sure Jeff has 2 other backup bottles of that in his house because I also have. As soon as I figured out how good that was, I was like, do you have any more of that? I had to go search it.
The night after he gave it to me, or the night he told me about it, sent me a picture. I was on OLCC searching it.
Yeah, you were.
And I went and picked up a new car the next day. And on my way home from driving that new car, I hit 2 different liquor stores on the way home. One let me get one of them because they were like 1 per person.
Yep.
The other liquor store I went to let me get 2, and I was like, thank you. It did have a fucked up label on one. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm drinking it.
No.
That's the one I'm drinking.
That's the drinker. Yep.
And he was like, somebody returned it because the label was bad. And I'm like, yeah.
Is that what they returned it? They returned it?
Yeah, because the fucker was probably going to be selling it or trading it or whatever. Who knows?
God, that's lame. That's so fucking lame. I will never, you will never see anything I buy online for sale. It won't happen. I will drink it. I will bring it here. I'll bring it with my friends. I'm drinking these liquors.
Be open.
It will be open. I'm not sitting on them. I will sit on that Weller Jeff gave me for a good minute. I'm not opening that.
I sat on that for years. Like I said,
I will open it before a year.
If I wouldn't have got another one coming, I couldn't have done it because I've been like, that's part of the collection.
Now, let me ask you.
That's a special bottle.
Would that not be something that maybe, just maybe, you might just put in a safe for the day you die and make everyone else drink it?
Oh, it's a good idea.
That's what my whole bar is for.
Yeah. That's a good
Everyone
point.
must drink the entire bar before the last person goes home.
When I pass, there's already people that are in lines for like who gets what,
Yeah.
They all think they're all getting all of it. I told
list.
my dad, fuck no. This could help pay for some kids' college shit. Not my
That's
kids.
a good point.
My niece and nephew. This could help. Well, one of them probably is not going to college. But either way, the other one might, and it could go towards some of that,
All right. You're going to trip out on this. This is like nothing we've had
I heard
on the table.
I heard
nothing.
that this is like almost like what was it?
Cinnamon toast crunch.
Some mysterious woman you met at Burning Man, but you should trust her.
Nah, I don't think you should trust this one.
No. Oh man. That looks good. It looks really good. I like the color on it. See, that's the other thing. Like with cannabis and bourbons and stuff, I'm a big fan of the colors.
Well, and the colors come from the barrels, the oak barrels. So that's what I love about it too. Is every bourbon is that's why this guy being a whiskey guy, and we'll get into this, why I'm not a huge Canadian blended whiskey fan, because even though you can appreciate Crown or Pendleton or whatever, but I appreciate bourbon because this is the color it came out of the barrel versus Crown Royal that they add food dye to it to make it look like this, so we feel normal about it being whiskey.
Wow, they do.
Right.
They add food
Yeah.
dye to Crown
comes
Royal?
out really clear.
Canadian blended whiskey, they do that.
I had no idea.
Pendleton, Crown, 1908, like all kinds of different Canadian whatever, they add food coloring, and that just, it disturbs me.
That is so. When this goes into the barrel, it's clear, right?
It's clear. Yeah.
It's clear when it goes in.
So it's the one time that it's acceptable for Canadians to add coloring to their foods.
I guess so.
We need Jim here for that. He'd battle
Oh
you
my
on the
God.
Canadian shit.
I think we'd all just get
jumped.
Yeah. That's the best way to say
All right.
it.
Well, hey, cheers. This has been a great podcast episode. I love having you here, Jeff. We're 100% having Jeff back on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And we may end up cracking the Weller next time.
I look forward to bringing other stuff too. Like, what I've been digging to in this bourbon game is like fusion, like Japanese and bourbon being mixed, like a Japanese Suntory blender coming in, like tweaking bourbon stuff, or or opposite, and it's pretty cool. Or even
Right.
like scotches that are done in a bourbon barrel,
Well, it's like
stuff
you were
like that.
talking about Japanese whiskeys and stuff. When I was in New York, I had a bunch when I went into the different communities of restaurants and stuff. I had a bunch of different sojus and stuff in Chinatown and all kinds. Like, man, New York is a great place to experience. We should get a little
I have
travel
never-
experience.
I've
Go to
never-
New York, hit all the boroughs, and
No,
get some drinks.
we should go to Kentucky.
Yeah, that's
Kentucky would be great, too.
Exactly where
I-
we
you
should
know,
go.
I got it someday. It's going to be a Kentucky, and it's going to be a bourbon and golf trail.
Ooh.
Sign me up.
I have to learn how to golf.
I'm interested.
I
It's
disc
a great
golf.
game.
I'm interested to see what you think of this real quick.
No, I actually took a
Do you
small
smell
sip.
it?
I smelled it. I smelled the
You didn't take
cinnamon
a sip
toast
yet?
crunch.
It's so
I
tasty.
did take a sip, and I'm tasting it.
It's amazing.
You do smell and taste that cinnamon toast crunch. It's
insane.
literally like the cereal.
It is
It's-
fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's a dessert
It is.
in a glass.
No, these I did it right there.
It'll get you.
Although-
it's still strong. What are we talking proof
Although-
wise?
This one isn't as smooth as the last one.
Well,
However,
yeah.
98 proof.
these two are a lot more mindful to my palate, where
So-
I feel like, yeah, I could drink these neat on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Jeff will tell. Jeff, you can explain this better than me because I don't know enough. But Rio is an MGP, which is. Can you explain what an MGP is?
Well, MGP is the brand.
It's the brand, right?
right? So they own the distillery, but they also make for several other different companies too. Like I want to say they do like Sam Houston. I have like a 15-year Sam Houston. I know they do. Any of the Penelope stuff though, I've really dug. Like
Me
the
too.
toasted
Weeded?
barrel, the castrate. I haven't tried the weeded
The
yet.
weeded's
I haven't.
amazing.
But they have one that I told you I'm looking forward to. Is that marshmallow toast?
Yeah.
I gotta have that one.
Yeah, the marshmallow
I
looks
gotta have
great.
it.
The Havana's coming, so we'll have the Havana soon. You haven't tried that, have you? Have you
No.
had it?
No,
We're gonna
The
crack
Rio-
that.
The Rio had me sold. I'm in. I can't
So-
wait for you to try some of the barrel craft. More of that stuff.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like how soda kind of works. Like somebody's got a recipe and they're like, "Hey, like we're going to market it." But like they get to kind of choose like what kind of products are available to them essentially. So like maybe like they get to be like, "Oh yeah, we want some of your good stuff," right?
Well-
Is that how
and-
that
and
works?
it's the cast.
It's
like
the
you
cast.
could say it better than me, Dimitri. I can't even pronounce the cast that are on that. But the cast that they use, that's that fusion stuff where they're taking, Chardonnay barrels and doing bourbon in them. They're taking the Amaro cherry, or Amaro.
So like let's say this brand per se,
Mhm.
because they're not making it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Penelope
But-
doesn't make it.
Right.
MGP does,
And so
and they.
but
Well,
then
they
they're
own the
also
they
brand.
choose
the
their.
brand.
They choose
right.
what
So they get
want.
to like walk through the facility maybe and say like, okay, and maybe probably look at price points at the same time and say like, we want to buy this one and that cask, and then let's bottle that one up.
That, or they take one that maybe they liked, and then they're like, put that in another cast for another year or two.
And they'll
And then
they'll
that's
make
the
their
one-
own blend.
That's the Havana, the
Okay.
Rios, the stuff like
and
that.
I see that kind of maybe potentially being like a cannabis thing in the future too, where companies are like, hey, can you separate these cannabinoids and like arrange them like this
What I wish is,
for us?
as we all know, and I feel bad for a lot of marijuana growers because I deal with a ton of you guys and I love y'all, but marijuana doesn't age,
Right.
And that's a sad thing because
Right.
it would be awesome if I could say this weed is from 2017.
Aging is
Age-
bad
age-
in the weed
well,
world.
so
but it
here's
doesn't
the
work
thing.
like that with
No.
weed.
But when we start to isolate cannabinoids and then we separate them,
What's a distillate, right?
well, not just distillate, because we can also
No,
make CBN and
it's a
CBG.
you're
and
still
things.
it's still a distillation process.
Right. You're
still
isolating.
you're isolating.
Right.
You're
This is-
still
this is
extracting.
so fucking good. though.
So we take like an
It's
isolation
good.
of all these different things, and then we can store them long term, maybe.
well,
and then
definitely in
mix
oils
those
like what you do,
compounds.
the art that you do, because it is a fucking
Yeah,
art.
but the flower, yeah,
The
it would be
flower's
great to
different.
be like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a vintage Jack
It would
Herrera,
be fucking
made by
cool.
Jack Herrera
It would be
himself.
cool as fucking shit. As
Yeah,
if we
it
had
would be.
like, oh, I'm gonna pop out this weed from 2000, like I said, 17 or something,
Yeah,
and be like, oh, let's try a little nug of this. But unfortunately, it just doesn't. It doesn't.
maybe
have
we
that
can
yet.
get there.
Degradation
though.
happens.
We
starts
might be able to get
immediately.
there with
Yeah.
future technology of air
maybe.
sealing and all this argon and all this crazy stuff.
Possibly.
Well, I think that's where extracts come into play, right? Because
Right.
there is no expiration on an extract. Yes, I'm sure over time extracts can go bad, but like what we do, the way that we create our BHO, there's ways to store that for long periods of time.
I think we're one of the only companies that I know that takes every gram,
Mhm.
grams it up as quickly as they can, and then vacuum seals them
Yeah,
and stores them in our warehouse vacuum sealed
right. Under
at under room temperature
Yeah.
temperatures too.
Yeah.
So like they arrive to the dispensary vacuum sealed, just like the packs.
and we do it immediately. Like it's not sitting out. It's not something that we're gonna leave and come back to 6 months. Like we get that out, we get it in gram, however we do it, whether we run it through our own process to turn it into oil, and we get it right into carts, and then we're sealing those as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, we really do take pride in our extracts.
Well, and that's where the automation comes in, because before all the automation, that was the hiccup.
Yeah.
Was getting packaging done as the product was done, and so the vape jets have been crucial with that, and then also having a solid team of people who know and have the capability of learning how to operate those pieces of machinery. And they're not difficult, but if you're willing to learn, just like driving a car or a motorcycle or anything like that, you can do it, and that those kinds of skills in this industry go a lot longer than just being able to say yes, sir.
Well, it's evolving.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you
everything's
that.
evolving.
So you, especially since you see so many products, right? You get approached by every single business out there.
I got a question for you,
Yeah.
real quick, and then you go to under what
Yeah.
you had. If you were to think of like my stores, which isn't mine, I'm part of it. I don't own it, but if you think about my stores, what would you think the cannabis, the actual weed part that people are buying, not the concentrates, not the vapes, not the the edibles or any of that stuff, no tinctures, just weed. What do you think that percentage of that business is?
I know the answer to this.
I'm curious.
I would say it's over 50%.
I would say
you're
80,
dead on the money.
80%. Yeah.
No, it's like 50. I want to say, call it 52 to 54.
It surprises
Headset.io
me.
lies to me then.
It surprises
Headset only
me.
has the info that they get.
I know. But
So we call that proprietary.
It's helpful. But no. I mean, they want to make you think that flower is the leading factor of the entire market,
It
which
is.
it is, but it's not as high as everyone
But,
thinks.
Yes,
but it's
it is.
evolving. It is evolving.
I totally
It's quickly
disagree.
going to pre-rolls and cartridges.
Yeah, but-
very fast.
But
Huge,
that's
huge.
true. Pre-rolls, but they still look at pre-rolls as a portion of flour.
Well, and they're starting to separate those.
But
though.
flour still
yeah.
is over. I think it's actually a little bit over 50% of the market.
Yeah.
But over time, that is you are seeing it come down.
Well, it comes
is
down to
gonna come
the
down.
education of people understanding and the availability of things like e-rigs and things like that for concentrates to be more readily available in the hands of the consumer, because everyone thinks weed is just flour when they first get introduced to it.
Mhm.
They don't understand, and then they see a torch and a banger and they're like, well, I'm not doing the fucking that,
Right.
and it's like, but then somebody comes up to them with a Puffco and
Mhm.
says, here, this is cannabis. They just say, oh, is it THC? And they're like, yeah, okay, cool. And they take a little hit and they're like, wow, that's crazy. That's nice. And it's like, now it's a whole different thing, which is kind of like the podcast I was on, which was like a bud tender experience and
Mhm.
stuff. But like now we need to start bringing more like
and honestly,
user experience.
Dabs have actually kind of helped propel the evolution of the system, because usually what you would do is you'd be in the store and you'd be a bud tender, and you did it, Dimitri. You'd have people come in there and they'd smoked a long time. I won't say ages or whatever, but they smoke a long time and they're like, I need the heaviest hitting shit you got. And you're like, whoa. Like, you've been smoking. I know you've been smoking a long time.
Right. I don't have any
let's-
70% weed. I'm
Let's
sorry.
realize that when you first started, you were probably smoking 7% if you were lucky. So let's not base it on THC, which the
Right.
kids, the dabbers, or even any dabber, not just kids. I'm not a dabber per se, but a lot of the dabbers, they understand that it's more terpene based,
Yeah.
not necessarily based on the fact that what the THC level is. I mean,
And I think hash rosin really brought that to perspective for a lot of people, because it's hard to get a high THC especially understanding how testing works, that it's quantified from the THCA, because if you're making an extract, it's all just a guess about the THC on there. They're only able to
That's
measure
true.
the THCA.
Do you
And-
do you
and-
know why flower is still over 50% of the market?
Because of that.
No.
Because it's fucking
No,
great.
No,
Yeah.
that's the reason, because it's great, but it's because still a huge, in fact, I would say even greater, is the part of the market is still purchased by people over 40.
Yeah.
A ton of the market is.
That's
Yeah.
why. And
But, you
and
know-
and the old school guys all still go for the pre-rolls or the
Yeah.
flower.
I would say a
The
majority of my
youngsters go for
customers.
extract.
It's changing though. A
Yeah.
lot of
It
those
is
old
changing.
people. A lot of those old people. Like last week, I took my mom a cart.
Mhm.
75 years old. I was like, "Do you want
Yeah,
some weed?"
once they
And
know.
she said, "No, I don't want any weed this time. Can I have a cart?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can have a cart."
Does she smoke flower typically?
She fucking loves flower.
That's why.
From 6 a.m. to
That's why.
fucking however
She's-
time she goes to bed.
All
And
the
then but
Yep.
she's always chasing. And I try to explain, look, you smoke at 6 a.m. When you smoke at 2 p.m, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
You already kind of wasted that first really good high, you know? I always try to say, wait as long as you can in the daytime before you go for that high if that's what you're looking
Yeah.
for,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
I try to get to at least 10 minutes before work.
I used to do that. But the weed I like knocks my dick in the dirt. So I couldn't be working, or especially back in the day when I bud tended, I couldn't
Believe me,
smoke
there's days
when I
I'm
was-
like, how is he working? He's like, eyes are. I'm like, oh my god. It's a good thing you're in the weed business.
But 5 minutes later, I'm good to go. I don't get tired at work.
which moving helps. But yeah, no, for me,
Mhm.
it was because I smoked my whole life. Well, whole life since I was 19, and I'm close to 50. But it was the fact that now when I smoke, I smoke really good shit. But it hits me hard where if I was like working at the store and I'm talking to this is serious shit. I know we're on a podcast and we're loose and this is fun. But sometimes when I be helping a customer, it could have been a mom with a 3-year-old daughter that has brain cancer.
Yeah.
And
no, that's
At
true.
that point, that's when I was like, I can't talk to somebody like that stoned.
No.
Not the way I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
So it also taught me it's like this is more to it. Like I want to be able to talk to them and tell them what I think and what the best thing for them to do with what they're doing, which is all just opinion at that point. I mean, there's no fact, but I want to be able to help somebody. If I smoke early, it would affect me. Now, when I was young and I worked at UPS,
You
when
didn't
I
give a
hit
fuck.
Swan Island, I was smoking the whole Swan Island strip till I got there.
Right.
And I would work and sort packages, and my packages made it where they were supposed to go because I can handle shit stoned. But dealing with a mom and like in the shop, that's a whole different game.
It sure is. Honestly, that's a great point too, because there's such a more people need to take the industry more serious in the first place.
Yeah.
I feel like it's still really loose business, but as we evolve in this game, it has to become more
It
professional.
definitely
It's
is
evolving.
more
I mean,
apparent
it
at
is
the
evolving.
entry level.
And you're getting people that like even cops, like, dude, they don't want to look down on us about this. They just like, fuck it, it's a real job. Like, do your shit,
Yeah.
And I think
Well-
that they honestly like weed because it's like better than drinking in a sense, even though we're drinking. And
You're
I
not
love to
you're
drink.
not pulling up to a to any type of smoke shop at 2 a.m. and watching two stoners fucking battle it out, in the street.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
No.
Drunk people
Unless it was over the last
will
joint.
do that. Yeah, unless
I'm kidding.
that's a good point. Well, maybe, but
And then they'll
alcohol.
hug it out at the end.
Alcohol
yeah.
is a very different thing. It's a very different thing. And weed is just a peaceful drug.
Well,
it
I
really
would-
is. It's
I
the
would
drug of
really
peace.
like to see more social experiences
There
with
needs
cannabis
to be.
involved.
There
There
will
has
be.
to
There
be.
will be. It's evolving that
and
way.
I think it will.
It's becoming way more acceptable today
I mean, you got
than I've
Sylvester
ever
Stallone.
seen it.
you got Sly Stallone doing a fucking show with weed all over in it,
I know.
and he's eating edibles and looking funny as shit.
And
it's
you
like,
know he's
I
high.
Wait a
He really
minute.
is
I
eating
have
them.
not seen this.
you haven't seen Tulsa King yet?
I have not.
It's
What?
It's. I mean, look, lot of people may not like Sly. I like Sly.
I love
Sly
this man.
is
Then
a
you need to watch
G
Tulsa
in
King.
Tulsa.
I
It's
like
also
him.
a Taylor Sheridan show, which
It
is
is
that
another
did
fuck-
Yellowstone.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, Taylor Sheridan is the king right now. This motherfucker. How many shows? He's
All I
got
know is-
Yellowstone, 1980, what or
Three.
1880.
1883,
I mean, dude,
1912, whatever there.
What the fuck?
He also has Lioness,
what's-
Tulsa King, and
Lioness?
so-
Lioness is a Taylor Sheridan? I just watched the whole thing.
yeah, and he's great.
It's amazing. Wait. Before you jump in, what's the other one that with Billy Bob?
Landman.
That's a Taylor fucking
Landman.
Sheridan show.
Fucking
too.
A right
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
And he calls
Landman?
out shit real on it. I love it. You know?
I fucking love. I'm Taylor Sheridan is a
and you know,
fucking
here I read a
badass.
story on him too. He was great. He was in Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah, I know.
and he was the sheriff, and he drove an early Bronco, an
Yeah.
old Bronco, which I actually have. So I always like that part, you know, or whatever. Anyways,
you
he,
relate.
Man.
I do relate.
Yeah.
And he was, but he asked those guys for a raise. He's like, I want a raise, and they're like, dude, there's fucking 9 of you out here. You don't get a raise. And so at that point, because he had been a struggling actor for
Is
a
that
long
what
time,
converted him?
and at that point, yeah, he said, fuck this shit. And he started writing. And that dude writes nothing but gold. He also
Gold.
wrote Sicario,
Yeah.
Hell or High Water.
Did he write?
Sicario's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, he
directed-
wrote Hell or High Water?
Wind River. I mean, the movies that he's been connected to and shows are fucking amazing. The dude is he's a bad motherfucker.
He's
is what
a
he
bad
is.
motherfucker, bro.
And he really
So-
is too. You look at him, he is a bad dude.
Hey, listen, he can ride fucking horses with the best of them. He can fucking dude. This guy is killing it.
I was.
I mean, he must have 10 shows, all of them popular.
They have a Taylor Sheridan collection now on Paramount Plus.
Well, so you said
Fuck,
Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah.
and I had to look up his name, but Charlie.
oh, Charlie Hunnam.
He's in a TV
Jax?
show that I actually
Teller?
was an extra in called Criminal, coming out
Oh,
on
yeah.
Amazon.
Well, that's filmed in Portland.
Yeah,
This-
I
that's-
was an extra as a CSI agent. You may or
I
may not
remember
see me.
you going.
Depends
to
on if it
that.
gets cut or not, you know. But yeah, I spent like
I
3
remember you had
nights
that.
at like 4 o'clock in the morning watching
Yeah, he's
Hummer.
playing like the Ed Gen or
Bro,
Ed
dude, it's
something.
crazy. Like they blew up. I'm probably not supposed to say this. Maybe I'll get
We'll
cut.
cut this.
But no, I don't care. They were blowing
We'll
up
cut it.
Humvees and stuff in downtown Portland.
Yeah, it didn't
It's crazy. It's a real drama, hardcore action series happening in Portland. It's not the cheesy.
I gotta say,
I've been on
Charlie
other
Hunnam's a
stuff. I've been
badass
on
actor too.
I've been on like
he is.
librarians and stuff. I do a bunch of extra stuff all the time, and most of it's cammy, weird shit like from CW and
Well, so what? That's
haha, whatever. But like, I'm all like, damn, this is like, we got Khaleesi and fucking Sins of Anarchy guy as the fucking lead characters of
Wait,
the show.
the Khaleesi,
Khaleesi is the one of the main
girl?
characters. Yeah,
she's
I
a
mean, I didn't get
badass.
to see any of them, but like, there's some crazy violence. Like,
What was-
it's an
what was the name
action
of that?
show.
What was the name of that?
Criminal.
No, what was
Oh.
the name of the
Games of
HBO?
Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Honestly, I gotta say, Game of Thrones was maybe the best television show in the history of
Well,
the
that's
world.
a bold statement.
So,
In
now,
the history
I'll
of the
say
world.
this.
before I got
HBO
to that,
and
puts
history-
some of the best shows out.
Wait,
period.
what?
I'd say HBO puts out.
HBO.
I mean,
I'm gonna say.
Sopranos, The Wire.
Oh, fuck you!
I mean,
got
then
me.
if we get
I forgot
comedy-
about the Sopranos.
If we go comedy,
You're
I mean,
right.
it's just endless. So
Sopranos.
anything
Hey,
HBO.
top 3, maybe Game of Thrones top 3 all time. Would you
top
go
10.
as bold?
Top 10.
Nah,
This is like
For me.
I
This
gotta
is me
say top
personally.
this
3.
is the 2-hour
All right,
podcast.
give me at least your top 3. What's your top 3
Okay, like I
TV
said,
shows all time?
If I
All
say,
right, let's yeah.
Because
We'll
I
go
got
1, 2, 3.
I know.
This is gonna be
Sopranos
cheesy,
is going to be
but
hard.
remember,
to
I
beat.
We'll
grew
go
up-
with you, then
grew
me,
up-
and then him.
I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah,
So
no,
the
me
one
too.
I'm going to go, Miami Vice is definitely in my top 3.
No Dukes of Hazzard. All right.
Ooh,
That's
I love
fucked up.
Dukes Hazzard too, but that's different.
I know,
Miami
I know.
Vice was more
Miami
drive a
Vice
Ferrari,
was amazing.
sell,
Yeah.
playing like a guy
Yeah.
that sells drugs, driving a Ferrari, wearing a white fucking
He's got
blazer with a pink
that
shirt.
white
and,
blazer
you know,
was
Yeah.
fucking gangster.
driving,
I loved it.
Right, racing speedboats and driving Ferraris. I mean, shit.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
You're
I
right.
mean, I thought I'd be a cop growing up. Instead, I went the other route, but that's all right.
the criminal route. You went from.
Oh,
You're like, I'm going to
Never
be a cop,
criminal.
and then
Me?
Dude, and you got a friend.
and then he's like, fuck it, I'm going to be a criminal.
we said Magnum PI, right?
That's okay. You
Yeah.
can
That's
still
a
go
great
from
show.
criminal
Oh, okay.
back.
I thought that's where we were going with the
So,
Ferraris. But I was like,
Miami-
because then you also have a friend that has a helicopter.
Yeah, but Magnum PI
And a
is not
Ferrari.
even fucking close
It's a great
to
show.
the
but-
level of fucking
So-
picture of Game of Thrones. I'm
well,
sorry,
And
it's
I
not.
well for me, so like Miami Vice, what I'd say is, growing up in the 80s, and we're all. How old are you, Dimitri?
43.
He's a young buck.
He's
He's
the-
a young
he's
buck.
the
He's the young
baby.
one here.
But
Me and
I'm
Jason are 50.
I was a
close
mall
to-
rat when I
almost
was
50,
6,
close to
so-
50.
We're both we're almost
We're almost there.
Yep.
And for me, like the 80s, like Miami Vice, the music, the people on the show, all that, it shaped television to what we see
it
today.
did, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's crazy. But that was Michael Mann, the guy that did, we talked earlier, that did Heat, which is one of the best movies ever.
Of all
I
time.
can hear the synth right now.
Oh, the drums.
We're at the
Dun, dun,
beginning and the
Yeah.
fucking ocean.
or the song In the Air Tonight, you can't hear without thinking Miami Vice.
can
If you grew
feel
up
it
in that era.
coming. Yeah, it was one of the best songs
So
ever.
what- so
Phil
Miami
Okay,
Collins.
so that's number one.
Miami Vice is definitely there. God, the next two, I would have to say Sopranos is in there.
It has
Um,
to be. It has to be.
You know, but then I'm gonna say the next one's tough, man. I got many. So I'd say The Wire's great, Game of Thrones is great. And then a lot of Lioness, a lot of these Taylor Sheridan.
I gotta
shows.
say, Linus was fucking amazing.
That's the only one I haven't started.
And
yet.
I might be slightly
Tulsa King.
secretly in love with
Yeah.
what's her face? What's the girl in Linus?
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe.
who's around our age.
Yeah.
She's
She
hot.
bad, bro.
Very
Is she-
hot.
We're
is
all
she-
good there.
Zoe is fucking killing it.
I mean,
bro.
she's been hot for 20 years. She's still hot.
She's still hot.
All right, my three.
Go ahead.
I would have to say number one for me would be at the not number one, but at the beginning, Sopranos for sure. Just because that was
I
the
know.
first real
know.
TV experience I had growing up.
It was epic.
I
It was
can't
super great.
deny the
The
Sopranos
horse
is
head,
top five.
all of it. Over the time that I went to New York, I actually went to the bar where Tony Soprano and all them met in the kitchen, and I've smoked cigars in that kitchen area
That's
at the
pretty
round
cool.
table.
Amazing.
I have smoked a cigar there.
Wasn't that the Bada Bing?
The Bada Bing, yeah. And I could take you guys there. Let's go.
That would be cool.
And
That
then,
would be cool just for the fact.
yeah, no, it was great. My cousin took me there, so I was even more ecstatic about it. But and then my second thing, I would honestly have to say, because I'm a comedy guy, I like The Office.
Oh, The Office was great. See,
Yeah.
I wasn't even going comedy.
Yeah,
I kept
no,
that out of my
I'm thinking
shit.
of all time,
I mean,
and
'cause
then
if I go comedy,
The
there's a lot more
Office is
HBO
great.
ones
and then
too.
like my number three, which is kind of borderlining on the top of the scale right now because it's a newer show and that's recent to the mind, and it's Severance.
Oh, I haven't checked that out much yet.
Oh, I
It's-
forgot.
it's-
He
it's
loved.
so
Dude, he went to a
good.
severance party.
What
the
about
other
this
day.
though? Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously he
Yeah,
created Seinfeld.
Parks and Rec, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Larry David is somebody that I would love to play a golf around
Oh.
at 18 with.
I
I feel like that guy is.
I feel like he's a dick.
He is, but
Yeah.
he's real.
yeah.
He's saying everything that we all think
Yeah, he
that
does.
we
he
don't
does.
say.
Yeah.
He just says it. You know?
It would make me feel better about myself at the end of the day because it would verify a lot, I feel. Like I'd be like, okay, I can't say that,
I mean,
but he said it, so like I'm good.
sometimes you have an experience in life, and you're like, this could be a Curb episode.
Yeah.
And now, when I first saw him, I thought this motherfucker is annoying. And then all of a sudden, I caught an episode where he was trying to open a GPS unit somebody gave him, and this is way back in the day, and he couldn't get it, and he was stabbing it with a knife, and then somebody later in the episode gave him an X-Acto knife, but it was in the same packaging, and he went fucking ballistic on that. It's like that resonated with me.
Yeah. That's the minute you can find anything that you can relate with,
Mhm.
it's gold.
It is gold. Speaking of gold, let's pour a little more gold.
The smooth one, I like to call it.
This is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Are you? What do you like best?
Well, so
And then I'll get into my top
I mean, that's
three.
a toss-up, like you said. I mean, this is
Like if you choose,
that I love, but that fucking Rio is.
I know.
But then again, like
I
you said,
know.
it's like
Rio's
dessert wine. I
tough.
couldn't drink
What
it
are they-
all night. you
No,
know?
like three.
But-
After three like good drinks, I was done. I'm like, all right. I gotta move.
Amberina.
if he's correct on that.
If
We're
I said
still
it
not
right,
sure.
You're
Let me
not-
know if I said
you're-
it right.
You're not saying it right.
I mean, I feel like
It's Amberana.
Amberina.
It's Amberana.
I feel it's like a more like.
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
change it 4 times. I'm gonna say this is-
Amberina.
I mean, this just looks like good juice. It looks good. All right, who wants some of this? I know you do.
Yeah, that one's a smoothie.
It's tasty.
It is.
Now, what would be interesting is okay. So this is the science side of my brain. There's a certain amount of water.
What if we kill a whole bottle of gold tonight?
There's a certain amount of water content in most alcohol.
All alcohol.
So we
That's how they dilute it down to
in
the
the
right
they
proof
can.
in
point.
the
That's why-
science
that's why
world,
I
what
like
we
Pilsner.
like to do is we like to put it in a what's called a cryogenic freezer and get rid of the water.
Yeah.
Because then we get just the alcohol and we can concentrate it again,
Which doesn't freeze.
which
No.
doesn't freeze.
And neither do terpenes.
So then you
Just so
end
you
up
know.
when you end up
Terpenes
with
act
a
just like
100
alcohol.
or 200 proof bourbon. Might be kind of interesting to do some science to see what we can do with some concentrated bourbons.
I would be curious to see what
Ooh.
happens to it like that.
What if we took some like bourbon, added some terpenes to
we
it,
could.
and then put it in a cask finish and let it sit for a few
Yeah.
years?
Well, so now you're
a skunky
now-
Blanton?
Now-
Ooh, a
now-
skunky blend.
now you're starting to get where I
That's a
was
good
thinking.
idea.
So what I was thinking
I like this.
is we get a
We
barrel.
gotta do it.
We get a barrel.
We need to.
We put
I
a
have a
whole
barrel.
bunch of weed in it, and we seal it up, and we heat it.
Ferment it.
Do we put water in there too with it, or just weed?
Mm-mm.
We'll actually put a little bit of ethanol.
Because the ethanol will let it expand into the wood, like bourbon does.
Exactly.
That's why we get these pretty
we
colors in the
spray
bourbon.
the outside
Oh my God,
of the
we're
barrel
becoming
with
fucking-
ethanol so
we're
that
coming
it
up with
seeps
good ideas right now.
inward and acts as a vapor barrier that leaches the
so
scents
good.
into the wood as it
That's the real
vaporizes
angel share right
outward.
there.
Mm.
That would be the real angel share.
I'm
right
really kind of interested in this idea.
This
Because
Blanton gold
I'm
is
with you.
killing
Listen,
me.
listen, a barrel of weed is actually not a whole lot of weed.
there. Not for you guys.
No, it's
Especially
like
if in the end we're not going
like
to
I
smoke
got
it. We
I
have
got
to
like
destroy
five. I got 5 or 10 barrels of weed in the bag
Yeah.
right now. All right, I'm gonna give you my top 3. Are you guys ready?
I'm
All right,
ready.
my top 3.
Movies and TV.
I'm gonna say-
it's all inclusive.
I'm gonna
Well,
say number.
Just wind it up,
serious.
Dimitri.
Well, because you get Apple TV makes a whole series
Well,
like
hey,
Yellowstone.
we're
isn't
talking
really a
TV
movie.
shows.
Well,
so
and
it
then real
doesn't
quick
matter.
before you go, Jason, the thing about TV shows that change nowadays is back in the day, a star actor would not want to do a TV show.
Nope.
Nowadays, it's
Yep.
not looked upon as bad.
Right.
Like Mobland just came out on Paramount Plus.
Right.
They,
with,
they
Tom
wouldn't
Hardy
have done
and
it back
Pierce
in the
Brosnan.
day.
No.
Nowadays, a guy can do a TV show and know you're going to be just as fucking big
That's
right.
as if you were the star actor of a huge
Because
movie.
Apple is paying them to be a
Apple,
movie
Paramount,
star.
And that's
Apple,
why.
Paramount,
And that's why number 3.
HBO.
That's why number 3 for me is Yellowstone. With Kevin Costner. Number 3.
It's a great show.
It's fucking great.
yeah,
It's
love
fucking great.
It's Taylor
Even
Sheridan writing.
the first episode, the first
Sucked
20
me right
minutes, crazy,
Crazy.
it
Crazy.
sucks you in.
super crazy.
It's right up my alley.
You're
I
like,
love it.
What just happened?
Number 2, Sopranos. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Forget about it.
So,
Forget
it's,
about it.
it's
a
basically
fugazi.
number 1 because it's an
Okay.
average above all. So that's
And-
number 1.
And I'm gonna say number 1 all time. You already know I go Game of Thrones. It's fucking insane.
so
It's
it goes.
fucking the
It is
It
great.
goes.
Let me just say
And
the
a master
battle,
always
the
pays their
battle
debts.
of the bastards, where that fucking scene is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I just don't
In
like
the
that the bad
history
guy
of
was
TV.
Joffrey. I just don't like that the bad guy was Joffrey
Joffrey,
because that
Yeah,
is
you're
my
right.
You
name.
just want to slap that kid.
'cause,
Just want to
You're-
fucking. I
dude,
want
that
to
little
throw this
bastard.
glass
I want to
into his eye and just shove it just right into
But
his
I mean,
skull.
dude, the level of actors they had in that,
But
from
they
Jon
figured-
Snow to the
they
mountain,
made you hate him.
Hey,
to the
Pedro,
mountain, to the-
Pedro Pascal.
Well,
When he fought the
dude.
beast or the mountain or whatever,
I mean, that shit was
Pedro
amazing.
Pascal is great. And now
That's his only
that-
great role.
that,
I'm not a big fan.
Doesn't
of Last
even
of
matter. It was
Us. Not a big
great.
fan of Last of Us.
video game
That-
one. But
that
you know,
battle-
Narcos
oh,
is
you know,
good.
Hey, if
Narcos is
we
good.
I forgot to mention, if we go any TV show, I'm a huge Walton Goggins fan.
Okay.
I know
And,
that's
you know,
fucking great
you could
too.
go Vice
Yeah, yeah,
Principals.
yeah.
You could go
Yeah.
Righteous Gemstones. You could go The Shield. You could go. What
Hill
was the one
Street Blues.
No, he wasn't that.
All
he,
right.
he did the one on
I was
on
like-
Prime.
I was
that
on,
the video
a
game.
roll.
Fallout. He did that.
Fallout.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Fallout,
show was
they
good.
did
It
good.
wasn't great. It wasn't
Goggins
great.
is great though.
Could have been
Goggins
better.
is great. He's great.
Fallout should have been better. Sorry.
Or
Whoever
Justified.
fucking made
I
Justified,
really feel-
was great.
I really feel honestly that as weird as it sounds, when you look at the deep premise behind Fallout and Severance. They're very similar.
They are
Even
similar.
though you guys haven't
I'm
really
gonna check
gone
out Severance
too deep
real
into
soon.
it.
I
haven't
love
seen-
Adam Scott.
I haven't
He's
seen
great.
Severance
So
either.
I'll check it
Well,
out.
and there's a reason why. There's a reason for everything with Severance.
Did
which
you
is
check
what's
out
crazy.
Blackbird on Apple?
I did. Yeah.
Fucking
I
fantastic.
really enjoy
I
a
think
lot
Taylor
of Apple
Edgerton
stuff.
should play the new fucking Bond. Period.
Oh,
That
my
is the
God,
kid
yeah,
that should
yeah.
play Bond. Not any old fucks.
No,
because they want somebody
bring
young.
someone new.
Taron
in.
Edgerton, or if I'm saying his name right, he should fucking play it.
Yeah.
You know who he
James,
is?
no.
He's the guy that played in what's the ones that's like James Bondy, but he was the kid in it.
Oh,
Great
hold
thing
on.
about
This is
Spy
gonna
Kids
bug me.
is,
Hold on, we gotta
is a
look
lot
this
of people.
up.
The reason why there's so many
What
Spy
was his
Kid
name?
movies
What was
is
his name?
because the director,
Eggsy.
the director of Spy Kids,
Robert
Robert Rodriguez, does a
Still done
lot of his testing for his real movies with the special effects and various other things with Spy Kids first.
Yeah.
Because if
He's smart.
if parents and kids both love it, he knows he can use that effect.
That's a home
elsewhere.
fucking run, is what they call it.
Yeah.
Or what do they call it? That's the
And it's crazy because it's like you're like, oh God, everyone who's in his movies or in his, like, you can see
Antonio
Machete.
Banderas.
Yeah, Machete and
I can't-
Antonio
I cannot
Banderas
figure
in
it out.
every type of movie scenario.
Yep.
Whether killing somebody or saving a family.
That's true.
That is true. Hey, Antonio and Banderas is underrated. Sorry,
Yeah.
underrated.
My
Great
favorite-
actor.
Oh, I love him.
My
He's great.
favorite movie
Great
with him
movies.
is Four Rooms. That
Great movie.
was a great movie.
That's not Tarantino. Who is
It's
that?
not
Who did it?
Tarantino,
he write it, though, or
Tarantino's
no?
great movie.
but he was in it.
He was in it. Okay.
And he did the final scene, but it was I want to say it was Guy Ritchie.
It might have been because he was with Madonna and she's
Yeah.
in that too, right?
Yeah.
When we talk that, yeah, there. I mean, then you think, think movies. There's so many great ones,
Mm.
and I love Guy Ritchie. Most of everything
Guy
he
Ritchie-
does.
I know you
Put
watched the
great movies
BMW
out.
commercials, didn't you?
I don't know.
Oh, the Guy Ritchie
I totally remember
BMW
those,
commercials
yeah,
that
yeah,
came
yeah,
out
yeah.
were
I
fantastic.
don't know if I saw those.
They were all action sequences. He just ruined
But
a
I mean, I love
bunch of BMWs.
him from the start. Lock, Stocks, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch. I didn't like Swept Away. It's
It
not
was
me.
when he
So-
was hot for
So
that.
I didn't like
Rock and
Snatch
Roller.
the first time I watched
Oh,
it, and
so
the
fucking great.
second time I watched it, I was like, I get it.
With-
we
with
turned
you-
into
get
a
it.
movie
I mean, and look,
podcast.
what I love that Statham was in there and
He
he wasn't an action hero
Nope.
back
No.
then. That's
he wasn't.
before he was an
Yeah,
action guy.
he
Same
was-
with Lock,
yeah,
Stocks,
yeah.
and Two Smoking Barrels. He was just a good looking English guy, that
with a weird demeanor.
and he was a diver. He was almost an Olympic diver, I believe.
Huh?
But he was. It wasn't like
Shout out to my divers. I was a varsity diver in high school.
Get the fuck.
I was.
That was a
the
varsity
fuck?
sport. No, I'm just
You
kidding.
were,
Yeah, guess what? On my freshman year.
dude.
Hey,
That was
I was-
JV.
I was
I was
Freshman golf,
varsity
dude.
freshman year, brother.
I was freshman
All
varsity golf.
Yeah. 'Cause
That
when
I
you're
can
good,
see.
you're
now
good.
is cool. Which
When
now
you're
is
good,
cool.
you're good.
When I did it back then, it was before Tiger Woods era, so nobody even knew about golf.
Yep. We
All
had
right,
a golf
boys.
team.
All right, listen. We got to wrap this shit up. All right. We probably drank too much bourbon, and
Yeah.
we had a great time. I got to say, this is probably the best podcast we've had. Having Jeff on, and
Oh, yeah, Jeff.
cheers, Jeff. I love you. I'm super glad we got to have this.
I got nothing.
Well, here.
There was once a famous quote that says, "Too much of anything is a bad thing. Too much bourbon is just right."
I like that.
I think that might have been Mark Twain. I don't know.
I mean, if I was going to like GMO, this would be my GMO of bourbon.
the Blanton Gold, hey, I like.
But
GMO.
honestly, I love forbidden fruit, and this is my forbidden
See,
fruit.
I'm not a fruity weed guy, but like,
But you like forbidden fruit.
I love the smell of it, and I
The
appreciate
smell is
all
great.
weed because I have to buy weed.
Well,
for
and then you
everybody,
got that
you know?
weird 24K and the tangy world of wannabe forbidden fruit.
I'd say if one is more up my alley that you guys do, it'd probably be more like Gorilla Snacks.
hell yeah.
Oh,
okay.
our Gorilla Snacks is
For
murderous.
me, I'm
Yeah.
more of a gas guy. I'm in process of having my own strain made too.
Well, we're gonna.
There's going to be
Well,
a
we're gonna
G-Dub-
run it then.
There's
We
going to be
might-
a G-Dub
We're
strain.
gonna have to
We
run it.
We
And
might
I
have
give
to
you-
run it.
I give you the permission right now to run it when I have it done.
All right,
It won't
stop.
be proprietary to Khalifa.
We can do this all
Khalifa
night.
gets it, but
We can do this all night, but we have to shut this down at some point. And we've probably been on for like 2.5 hours now. It's easily the longest podcast we ever had. So
I could
First
go
of
for
all-
longer. I'm starting
first
to
of
get a
all,
buzz.
I know, right? First of all, let me just go ahead and say Thank you so much, Jeff, for
Hey,
coming
wait.
on.
Thanks for
I had the
having me.
best time. This has easily been one of the best podcasts we ever had. I'm sweating in here. Hey, this has been a fun one. Jeff from Khalifa, man, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's been a
Great time,
blast.
Dimitri. Great time. We're gonna run this back very soon. Anyway, look for sessions in your local,
Look for it at Khalifa.
yeah, look for it at Khalifa.
And if we don't have it, tell them.
Tell them to get it. Anyway, if you go to your local dispensary and they don't have sessions, tell your local bud tender to order it on LeafLink. We'll get it there quickly. Anyway, cheers. Great time.
Thanks, everybody.
Blanton's Gold. What do you got? What's your favorite?
Blanton's Gold.
Blanton's Gold.
I mean,
Blanton's
it's
Gold's
great,
killing
but
it.
the Penelope's fucking great, but
Penelope's dessert though, like all day you can drink that all day. Blanton's
the
Gold.
Blanton's just solid.
Solid. All right, y'all. Thanks a lot. Great time. Peace. We'll see you next time.